stakeholders, sponsors, teams, and the project manager through other project phases. Planning is needed to identify desired goals, reduce risks, avoid missed deadlines, and ultimately deliver the agreed product, service, or result, and it's required in project requirement as per Clause 14 Program of Works in QCS. We know that without proper planning of projects or business is mostly going to failure. Planning is the function of management that involves setting objectives and determining a course of action for achieving those objectives. Planning requires that managers be aware of environmental conditions facing their organization and forecast future conditions. Project management is the application of processes, methods, skills, knowledge and experience to achieve specific project objectives according to the project acceptance criteria within agreed parameters. Project management has final deliverables that are constrained to a finite timescale and budget. A work plan is essentially a project management plan by another name. When done properly, your work plan will clearly articulate and outline the steps needed to achieve a department-level or company-level end goal by baking in milestones, deliverables, resources, budgetary requirements, and a timeline to weave it all together. It's usually best suited for large projects and initiatives, but can really be used on any level. Before beginning your work plan, consider using SMART goals. Create goals that are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-related. This should help you start your plan off on the right foot. As we mentioned, your work plan will act as your roadmap for the entire project. Not only will it keep you and your team organized, but it will ensure that you get buy-in from key stakeholders, related departments, relevant accountability/risk leaders, and more. Additionally, it helps manage expectations on both the stakeholder level as well as on the managerial and team member level. Everyone that starts off on the right foot has a better chance of landing on the right foot. 2. Creating a work plan is a very involved process and requires as many established details as possible before you present to stakeholders. Here's what you'll need to focus on. By doing this, you can tell your project approvers that your project will take 1 quarter, 6 months, or 1 year given the purpose of the project, as well as the rest of the information you will fill in after the step. You should also tell your project approver the purpose of your project. Will your project be to better meet customer needs? Maybe your competitor released an upgraded version of a product you have, and you need to scale up to meet market demands. Whatever the ultimate purpose is, make sure that it's stated right off the bat. Write an introduction and background to better outline why you need this project to happen and what made you consider trying to meet that ultimate goal in the first place. Creating context and establishing the problem helps explain why you need the solution. Your goals might sound like your purpose, but they're a little more specific in that they're more long-term oriented, i.e., your team learned more about the process of launching a bug fix or how to respond more directly to customer/market feedback. Similarly, your project objectives should be measurable. For example, the objective of this project after launch is to create an increase of XX% of active monthly subscribers, or a certain dollar amount in revenue generated. It's best to use your SMART goals here. Build out what is specific, what is measurable, what is achievable, what is relevant, and what can be done within the project time frame. Point 4. Define and coordinate your resources. When you define and coordinate your resources, be sure to address the following questions: which software tools, like time tracking, project management tools, will be required to streamline the project, and especially consider the triple constraint of time, budget, and resources. Because at this point, you've already listed out all 3 in previous steps, you can now factor in risks that might hamper those processes. Maybe your staff takes a few sick days during this period of time, maybe one of your key department liaisons has to tend to a family emergency, maybe some of your tools crash that require more money pulled from the budget. Whatever your constraints may be, factor in anything that might feel like a risk that can lead to a full-blown constraint. Risks need to be assessed from as many corners as possible. Consider paid time off, vacation time that staff has accrued, and company holidays. Consider any freak accidents that might affect your budget or timeline directly. And then appoint someone to take charge in case the environment becomes favorable for those risks to become reality. Create a sense of accountability so that all team members can have an active stake in the successful outcome of the project and to minimize the possibility of error. Cover not just the basics, but every detail in your work plan with a fine-toothed comb. With every potential question or red flag already covered, you'll be able to get sign-off from stakeholders and start your project with the right expectations in mind. Above the entire work plan, outlining the whole thing like a skeleton, is your timeline. In your timeline, you'll mark down deliverables, their dependencies, milestones, which task is assigned to which department and team member, how many levels of approval are on each task, etc. At this point, many project managers will employ Gantt charts to sort out their timelines in a waterfall pattern. If the project is small enough or it makes sense, many project managers will use tools that help them sort out tasks and deliverables in a simple task list. Our Gantt charts, for example, help you create a visual view of your project tasks over time. You can easily see the project start date, what each project task is, who it's assigned to, how long each task is expected to take, as well as the completion date for the project as a whole. To learn more about how Gantt charts and other project planning tools that can help you make the perfect work plan, watch the short video below. We'll quickly show you all the ways that project planning software can improve your planning, execution, and reporting so you can make that work plan with confidence.